Hello and welcome to the Team DSI Advanced Leadership webinar. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm pictured here with my wife, Crystal, and we are super excited about today's call. Y'all are going to learn from someone who's very well respected in the company, someone who was a rising star with USANA and walked the international convention stage, which is an accomplishment. And before we get into the training, I just want to remind you that professionals sell the vision. Amateurs just sell the products. Now, it's important to sell the product, don't get me wrong, but whenever you're talking about USANA to someone, make sure that you also share the vision of USANA, to have the healthiest family on earth, the lifestyle of USANA, the friends, the community of USANA, the financial freedom that USANA provides. Make sure that your clients know about the whole vision. How do you do that? You use stories. Get them more stories using our results.teamdsi.info page, getting them to different webinars we have, getting them to community events, health and freedoms, home mixers, whatever you can do to expand the vision. The very best thing you can do to expand the vision is get them to a destination training like a Challenge U or a GoPro or international convention. And so that is how professionals sell the vision. I want to acknowledge you for being a professional. Not everybody gets on the advanced call, but you do, because you do your weekly action plan. You treat your business like a business. I'm super proud and honored to be working with you. And so let's get into today's training. We are honored to have Mr. Justin Hess from Salt Lake City, Utah. He's a bronze director. He was recognized as a rising star at his first convention, which I think he had been in the company only 6 months and grew so fast that he was able to walk the international convention stage, the main stage, at the award ceremony. And that means that you did something pretty special to be able to do that. And I've never personally sponsored someone who made the rising star, so I am super excited to learn from Justin Hess today. Justin lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. He still has a traditional job working as a mechanic at a flour mill. And he's going to explain a little bit about his USANA story. Justin, are you there?
Yeah, hi everybody. How you doing?
We're all doing great. Justin, thank you for being on this call. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know you probably only have so much time to eat lunch, and you're taking 30 minutes to really sew into our team and share your story, and we're very grateful that you did that for us today.
It's my pleasure.
Justin, go ahead and tell us, I guess, first of all, we want to know your story, right? Like this call ends in about 24 minutes, right? So we want to hear your story in maybe about 15 minutes and then open it up for questions. And basically, what was your life like before USANA? How did you get started in USANA? What's your life been like now that you've been in USANA? What has it afforded you to work with the company? We want to know everything about you, man. We want to know. So take it from the beginning.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you great.
Awesome. Well, right now I'm standing on the roof of the 11th floor here in Ogden, Utah, at the flour mill that I work at. So it's a beautiful view, and I'm happy to be here with all of you guys today. And I'm more excited than ever, honestly. Me and my wife have some huge goals this year, and I want to kind of tell you a little bit about how we got to where we are. My wife Amy and I are working together in this business. It didn't start that way. It didn't look that way at the beginning. And I'll tell you, when I first learned about USANA, I had just come home from a 3-year career in the oil field. And I don't know if any of you work in the oil field or you know anybody that does. I'm sure you probably do. But it's a very demanding lifestyle, and it takes you away from your kids. I've got 3 amazing kids, 9 years old, 8 years old, and 6 years old. And the last thing I want to do is ever be away from them more than I have to, right? So what I did is I got to work right away. The person that introduced me to USANA knew that I had been introduced to, well, let's be honest, a really big income. I was making high 6 figures out in the oil field, just under $200,000 a year, actually. Never ever in my life had I imagined that kind of financial freedom. But I learned quickly that it wasn't freedom. It kept me really tied down. I no longer had any options or choices as far as If I needed to go to work, it didn't matter if my wife was giving birth to one of our children. It didn't matter, like our last child, I wasn't even home. But I think 3 days after he was born, and I was back on a jet headed to North Dakota. So that's where my life was when I was making good money. So we tell people all the time in our business, don't we, friends, that you sacrifice things to make money in this life. But USANA came into my life. Somebody encouraged me to go learn about it. It took them 3 or 4 weeks, actually, to encourage me enough to go and learn about it. Thank God they didn't give up easy, because it changed my life. When I sat down to learn about USANA, I literally looked at a lot of things in a lot of different ways, and I tried to talk myself out of it, but I just couldn't shake the fact or the feeling that I was right where I was supposed to be. So I got started right away. I didn't really know what I was doing. My upline, actually, the person that got me involved, he actually quit doing the business a few weeks after he got me started, and I was on my own. So I had a couple choices to make. Jared, I actually put my CD in. I don't know if many of you have used it, but I put the CD in that comes in the BDS kit, and I just started listening because I didn't know what else to do, and I was feeling super lost. So that's a little bit of where I began. Is that kind of what you were hoping to hear, or did you have anything that specific you wanted to hear about when it comes to the beginning of my business?
No, that's great. Yeah, so talk about now what you did then.
So when we got started, my wife, like I said, believe it or not, the money that I used to get started, I bought a Pro Pack. I'm sure some of you on this call started the same way. I was serious when I made the decision to start. I was going to do this as a career. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew I was, and I knew I'd figure it out. And it turns out that's a pretty good way to be sometimes. And so my wife, I actually took some money that was set aside to buy season passes to our local amusement park, Lagoon, here in Utah. And I bought my Pro Pack, and then I went home and I tried to explain to my wife what I had done. So it wasn't probably the right way to do it, my friends, but I'll tell you, it worked. And I was more motivated than most people because I had to get my wife her money back. I had to get the money that I had set aside for my family back in the bank, and I had to do it quick. So within 6 weeks, I'd actually earned back my first 6 checks, enough to pay that back, that $1,200 that I spent to get involved in the business. And that's what got me more excited than ever, you guys, is when I realized, okay, now I'm not just excited, now I'm not just dreaming, but I'm doing this, and this is metrics that I can track. I made this many phone calls a day. I was making about 25 calls a day. Anytime I got a break at work, my lunch break, my second break, a couple hours in the evening, I was making phone calls. There were very few follow-ups because I was just making calls. I was running right over there, and I was signing people up. I was bringing them to Health and Freedom to see. I found a local gold director in our area, Stacy Christensen, and I found her to be very helpful. She had some meetings going on. I was just making calls. Matter of fact, there was times I couldn't even meet with these people. I was just I was scheduling them to meet with my friend Stacy, who had graciously offered to start helping me in the beginning after I figured out where I could get some help. So everything that I could do, I was doing it, and it made me very, very hungry to realize that, hey, this is actually what I wanted. Anything I want it to be is what I can do here. So then Jeremy Stansfield, those of you, I'm pretty sure those of you on the call are familiar with who he is, but he started watching the reports, I guess, and he noticed my name on the reports week after week after week, and he gave me a call, and that's when my mentoring relationship with Jeremy began. It was about 4 months into the business. I got a call from him, and he said he'd like to meet me, and that's where we began our mentoring relationship, and that's when things really started to look different for me. He really helped me enhance my vision. He helped me to see what I was capable of, and he helped me to see that maybe I was even thinking too small in my own thinking. So that's what got us to the very first. That's what got us started and successfully got us off the ground, was really just being honest with ourselves about what we wanted. I wanted out of my job. I didn't want to work for someone else. And we did just that. By January, 6 months into the business, I'd actually went full-time in it. I gave up my job. I went full-time in it. And through the year 2015 is when I was ranked Rising Star. And I actually built the business up big enough to replace my wife's income. And I brought her home from work. She's still home from work. She's actually homeschooling our kids this year. We've experienced some financial growth to the point where we've been able to visit Disneyland twice, which we had never done before. Even when I worked in the oil field, friends, I didn't go to the Disneyland park because when you work 250 hours and then you come home and you only have 6 days at home, last thing you want to do is pack a suitcase and head back out. So the money wasn't everything, and USANA's given me a vision for my life that's allowed me to do so many things. I sat down in the early days, my first weeks of this business, and I wrote what I wanted, and I wrote some goals and some dreams and aspirations. And, you know, a few weeks ago, you know how we have our peaks and valleys? Well, I was in a little bit of a low point. Pre-convention, I was just like, man, I'm going into convention. I really had hoped to be executive gold. I really had a goal for myself to do it. And some things kind of got in the way. Life happened, and I just didn't get there. We still have a really solid bronze business. We're happy with where we're at, and we've got a great business plan. But it got me looking, and I tell you what, I pulled out my goals and my stuff that I written down in the first weeks of my business, and I started realizing how much my life has changed since USANA became part of it. I started realizing that the vacations, that me and my wife had never been on honeymoon. Well, I took my wife to Puerto Rico and all through the Western Caribbean with USANA. USANA paid for that trip. We earned a free cruise our first 18 months in the business. Gave my wife a honeymoon I never could have given her. We actually got passports, and we plan on using them a lot. You know, so a lot of things have changed. My kids get to see me and my wife more than ever. They are more involved in their lives than we ever thought we could be. And we have plans within the next 18 months to be at a six-figure income and replacing my income completely. And that feels amazing. So that's where we're at right now, and that's where we're headed. And what we're working on right now is developing a local market leadership base bigger than we've ever had so that we can start focusing on international expansion once I'm full-time again. So that's kind of in a nutshell, I guess, where I'm at. And I'd love to answer any questions you have, or if you have any thoughts there, Jared.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. First thing I want to ask is, what has been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome in your USANA business, and how did you overcome it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Definitely challenges. They don't stop coming, do they? In my opinion, and I don't know if you guys see it my way or not, but in my opinion, the biggest challenge I've faced has been myself. It's been my mind. It hasn't been my abilities. It hasn't been my lack of skills. And anyone in leadership in this business knows it's not from a lack of support and a lack of people willing to help. But my biggest challenge has been overcoming the self-doubt, the negative thinking, the pre-programmed ideas that I have in my head about money, about work, and about my abilities. And that's a challenge that I think I still face today. A lot of people in this business don't recognize that with me. They're very surprised to learn that about me because, well, anything that I've ever said I was going to do, I set myself out and I did it. But here and there, like the executive gold goal, I know, Randy, you were in attendance at an event when I put my stake in the ground. I said, I'm going executive gold before convention, and I meant it. And when you don't reach those goals, when they mean as much to you as they do to me, and you don't reach them, that's the biggest challenge. That's where that doubt, that negativity, that self-inflicted wounds start to happen. And so what I did about it was I called Jeremy Stansfield. I actually called Brian Volke in San Antonio, and I called Brian Douglas. And I said, hey, I'd love to schedule some time to talk with you. I need to strategize, and most of all, I need to know how to overcome these negative ways of thinking. And so Brian Douglas gave me some great tools. He got me plugged into Eric Worre's programs, and he taught me how to really dig in and utilize and devour the GoPro book, the magic that's in that book. And what that did is that took me back out of my own mind. It put my ego to rest. It put my pride to rest, and it put me back in the simplicity of what we're doing here in USANA, and just the very simple step-by-step. Brian Volke helped me spiritually. He prayed with me. We prayed together, and he helped me remember that this is bigger than me. It's bigger than my team. There's so many people out there that absolutely need USANA and haven't been gifted with it yet, and that's what it's about. And so he helped me get balanced spiritually, which I'm now realizing how important it is to have my skills and my spiritual balance both being set every day. And Jeremy Stansfield, absolutely, all these pieces were amazing. Jeremy Stansfield sat down with me, and he helped me remember what I'm capable of, and he helped me remember that when you have these visions, when you have these goals, when you have these aspirations, you are going to sometimes fail to hit those. Because people that set their goals very high, when you aim for the sky, right, you may not get a star, but you don't come up with a face full of mud. That's what he reminded me of. He reminded me how to draw my vision board up, how to set realistic goals, how to stretch myself to where I was trying to exceed and accomplish things that the regular guy can't accomplish, because you've got to go out of your mind a little bit. You've got to get a little crazy. And you're going to find a little bit of disappointment there if you don't hit those goals. But that's the kind of stuff that makes diamonds. That's the kind of stuff that makes leaders, is being able to say, look, I might not hit this, but I'm going to do everything I can to do it. I believe I can, and I'm going to build a support team and a support system around me that can help me do it. And that's what those three pieces did. That's my biggest challenge, and that's my mode of attack for that challenge.
Wow, I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Justin. I know everybody on this call is a leader, and everybody on this call has big goals, and and it's awesome that you shared when it didn't happen, because like that's part of life too, and how you overcame it, which is even more important. And it sounds like you really reached out to your mentors, and that is a big key that has helped you get back on track. And for sure, I know you're going to hit it. I mean, that's done. I can just tell. Yeah. We have another question.
I can share it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this question is from Top Silver Director Renee Martinez, who has an oil field background, by the way.
Awesome,
and he says, what income producing activities were you doing to achieve the Rising Star Award?
Awesome. Great question. Well, let me tell you, first off, I didn't know I was doing the right stuff in order to reach Rising Star. I literally got a call from Nathan Schooley, and he said, hey, we're getting ready for our Vegas convention, and I noticed you're not registered. Are you not coming? And I was like, no, I'm too busy. I'm building, and I got a job, and I'm working, and I don't have the money to focus on right there. And he's like, listen, on your Rising Star, you got to come. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. So he explained it to me. It's for a new guy like me, I didn't have an upline yet, didn't know what it meant. So here's what I was doing in order to get that and not even realize it. I was pulling up my hub once in the morning and once at night. In the morning, I was setting goals on where I wanted to be at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, I was evaluating if I got there. And if I didn't get there, I was trying to figure out why. When I didn't get there, it generally meant that what I found was I didn't make as many calls as I had planned, or I got distracted and I didn't focus on the income-producing activity, which, in my opinion, if you were in growth mode, the income-generating activity, the growth-generating activity is new customers, new associates. So anything that you're doing that does not involve new customers or new associates in that growth period, whether you're top silver, whether you're brand new, whether you're diamond looking for star diamond growth, if you're in that mode and you're not spending 80 to 90% of your working time each day focused on generating new points in your business, then you're probably focused in the wrong area. Not that there are bad things we focus on, but I was focusing on, simply put, one thing, putting points in my business. And I wanted those points to get sticky, so I got really, really good at auto order. Really good at auto order. It was just a natural thing. It wasn't an uncomfortable thing. So how I did it, Renee, I made about 30 calls a day for probably the first 4 months. And the way I did that was I actually came across Eric Worre. Before I ever heard of Eric Worre's Go Pro book, I came across a little video that said how to recruit 20 and 30. I think maybe it's a little bit aggressive for every new person, but it lit my fire. I wanted that kind of growth. And so I started doing what you said. I set up a calling list with 800 names on it. I didn't want to run out of people to talk to. And for that whole time, I was just dialing the phone. A lot of people didn't answer. I have a rule. I never leave voicemail unless it's a follow-up. If I'm calling you for the first time, I'm never going to leave you a voicemail. And if it is a voicemail, it's just simply, hey, it's the first time I've called. I really need to talk to you. Give me a call. but I never leave a voicemail saying, hey, I got something I want to run by you. Give me a call when you have time. I want them to be curious. Like, why is he calling me so many times? They'll eventually call you back. You just got to be ready. When they do call, be ready to light your energy up and get after it, because that's something that kind of caught me by surprise too. The phone starts ringing the other way. I know I get a little bit, I go down rabbit holes here and there, so if I get too far off your question, let me know. But that's really what I did is I focused my energy where it needed to be focused in order to go. But I wasn't shooting for Rising Star. I was actually shooting for gold before convention.
Renee says, nice. That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Nice. I love what you had to say about going through large amounts of numbers, you know.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you watched, that 20 and 30, what was that? Is that by Eric Worre?
So, yeah, Eric Worre did it's actually a training that's on YouTube right now. I think he made it in 2013.
Okay.
But it's phenomenal. It talks about, if you follow Eric Worre pretty close, you've heard him talk about the fact that six-figure earners recruited a large amount of people one time in a short period of time because success loves speed, right?
Yeah.
Seven-figure earners are people who have done that multiple times, year over year, maybe twice a year. So you have these big pushes where you set up, and for the next 30 days, you've got people in place to support maybe some newer people that are going to need help, and you put your blinders on like a horse in a race, and you focus on recruiting a new business for the next 30 days. And your goal is to bring 20 people in, and at the end of those 20, about 12 of them are going to say, look, I want to go somewhere with this. By the end of the first year, you're going to have about 2 of those 20 left, and they're going to be your aces. And if you've ever heard Jeremy speak on his numbers situation, on how numbers on recruiting, there's 4 aces in every 52 card deck. So your goal is to just sift and sort through the people, looking for the people that are leaders and wanting to grow until you come up with those aces and being ready to support them. And that's what Eric's 20 and 30 does. It gives you the ability to recruit a lot of people quickly and then start sorting through and finding those leaders in those recruits.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Yeah, I definitely want to have that video posted on our advanced group and have the team access that. I guess we can look it up and find it.
If I made a recommendation with it, Jared, I would highly recommend, if you have 2 or 3 leaders that are particularly hungry to recruit, work on it together, be each other's accountability partners, and start at the same time and really, really challenge each other. That's what I would recommend. It gets tough.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is great to do it in a group because it does get tough. Absolutely. All right, so we have time for one more question. We have Jared Harris in Salt Lake City, and he says, what would you suggest in saying to help a prospect who wants to become an associate and helping them understand about generating an income?
So in general, I think this is a general question. What do I do in order to create the vision for a general prospect that's looking at the possibility of USANA as an income, right?
Yes, and also, what is your strategy for recruiting associates? Do you lead with the products, or do you lead with the business, or how do you get associates specifically?
Wow, that's a great question. I wish that we had more time to go into it because that's one of my favorite things to talk about. So I'll kind of answer both of these in one statement here is, when it comes to a prospect, I'm going to start with the second question first. What my focus is I call it, I try to teach and I lead to an interviewing style prospecting. I interview. So obviously in order to invite somebody, you got to be more of a go-getter, an action taker. But once I've got their attention, I start the interviewing process. I have a set of very particular questions, and I ask just about everybody these questions without varying too far, because I'm a numbers person and I know that the majority of the thing is to go. People ask a lot of the same questions and you're going to find. But the first question I ask is, what is it that got you and I together today? Like, what is it in your life that you're either really excited about or really maybe less excited about that got you sitting down with me today, looking for different options in your life? I want to know why they're there. Second question is, as Grace Kehoe taught us on the cruise during our training, and it really stuck with me was, how long do I have with you today? because I don't know how to target my next and my approach at all that day if I don't know how long we have together. Because I can spend more time with you, or I can spend less time with you and try to accomplish the same thing, but I need to know how long I have with you. So those are two very important questions. And the third question is, at the end of it, when you find out, what interests you the most, what did you find piquing your interest the most out of all the stuff we just went over? And if it's products, then I know we're going products. If it's, I'd love to be able to produce some more income in my life. How do I get them to that first question, how do I get them to see this as potential for themselves? I basically just do what Eric Worre taught us to do. I ask them critical questions. If this is something that you decided to take on, what kind of income would you be hoping to earn? Would you be hoping to add to your career income? Would you be hoping to be able to turn this into the skill set that gives you a long-term career option and you can work for yourself? It's just all about asking them questions and then using the skills and the things that we've picked up and the knowledge we have to answer the call. Like, what are they looking for? What's causing them pain, and how can I fix it? How can I offer them a solution?
Love it, love it. So just so I can recap, you're using questions basically, and you're trying to find out what's the first question, just so everyone can have it real clear in their mind.
So my first question is, hey, I'm just curious before we get started, what is it that's got you sitting down with me today? I talk to a lot of people, and not everybody says yes to sitting down and hearing what I have to say. I'm just curious why you did.
Okay, cool. So you ask, what made you want to sit down and meet with us today? Cool. Okay. And then you ask how long you have with them?
Yep, and cool, awesome. How long do we have together today? I've set aside 90 minutes to you. How long do you have to meet with me?
Okay, cool. So you want to respect their time. That's real professional. Yes.
I don't want to get halfway through an H&S. I don't want to get halfway through a slideshow and realize they've got to go. So if I need to jump to a quick newspaper, or if I need to just highlight and bullet point some things and show them particular things I want to know, that I need to do that.
So, and then what was the third question?
The third question was, well, it kind of varies with people, but depending on where the conversation went, it kind of varies. If it's my favorite way to kind of wrap up, you got to ask a wrap-up question. After you've showed them some stuff, you got to look them right in the eye and with a smile on your face say, what was it that interested you the most about what we just looked at today?
Okay.
What was it that interested you the most?
Yeah, the closing questions. Yes. Like the Eric Worre questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then from there, there's a whole range of different things you got to do once you know what they're looking for. But once they say, probably the business side of things, awesome. Why? Why is the business interesting to you? Now I'm going to figure out why they're looking for something else. Mm-hmm. Why are they looking for something else? And I'm just going to use the pain that they might be feeling about their current situation. And I'm a compassionate guy, so this part comes naturally for me. I really feel their pain because I have a lot of the same pain. And I just utilize that. And I really try to connect with them on that level and let them know I care. And if this is something that you're willing to put your faith into, I got you. Let's do it together.
That's awesome. Well, Justin, thank you so much for this great call. I know our team has gotten a ton from it. Everybody's been texting me and commenting. Lillian Galdiano, thank you for finding the video so fast. She already found the Eric Worre 20 and 30. It's already been posted to our group. Thank you, Lillian. And Justin, thank you for being a great example of somebody who doesn't make excuses. You didn't even have an upline, and you just kept going, and you had a vision for yourself and your family, and you made a difference in so many people's lives, and you found the help. You figured it out yourself, and you continue to be that leader, very inspiring leader. I actually didn't know your story prior to this call, so I'm so glad that I got to hear your story and learn more about you. I know we were on that cruise together, and it was really nice. It's really been nice to see you make such big strides in the company. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. So many people love your story that they're commenting on our group. This call will be recorded as well, so we can get you the YouTube link so you can watch it or use it if you want to pass it on to some other people. So Thank you again, Justin. Let's go ahead and end the call. Dad, if you could please unmute the lines and have everyone say thank you, Justin. Have an awesome day.
Justin, have an
Thanks,
awesome
Justin.
day.
Awesome.
Thank
You
you,
guys too.
Justin.
My
Have an
pleasure.
awesome day.
Have a great day.
Woo, my pleasure, guys. Have a wonderful day and go catch
Thank you,
the ball.
Justin, for your time. Have a good